Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network hot take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen one of our hot takes before, well, it's where a few friends, we get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is Tron. Ares here to discuss with me, as always, fresh off the Dillinger grid system. Chris Trio.
Greetings, program. How we doing today, Gooch?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a busy weekend, Trio, but I'm always excited to come end the weekend with you.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. I'm excited to talk a little Tron Ares.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just get right into it. I want to start with you, Gooch. Top level thoughts. Walk us through, what did you think of Tron, Ares?
I really liked it. If you've been in the Discord, you know I've been on a Tron kick the last few weeks. Not necessarily for Ares, though. Just Tron in general. I watched Uprising. I finished that. We watched the original Tron from '82 and Legacy. You can go watch that for our WeRhyme reviews at the end. We'll have them linked over there, so you can go check those out. So please do leave us comments about what you thought about Tron Ares as well, and make sure to subscribe on your way out. But back to Tron Ares. So I wasn't really excited for this. I mean, we kind of talked about it. Jared Leto is not a great pill to swallow in any regard anymore,
sure,
I feel. Yeah. I found some behind the scenes stories with him too. Of course, he had to method act this. But I'll tell you them when it's appropriate. But I'm going in with kind of low expectations about Ares.
Sure.
I'm just really excited that we're getting more Tron. I think that's great. This IP is always not done really great, not reviewed really great. I watched a ton of interviews with Bruce Boxleitner, the voice of Tron and the actor for Tron, and he's like, yeah, it's always been a franchise that's never really taken off. And it kind of got smattered when Disney acquired Star Wars and Marvel in 2013, 2012, when Legacy had been out for a year and then they didn't go forward with the plans for those original sequels. So what we have here is sort of a sequel to Legacy, but not really a sequel to Legacy, right? It's sort of standalone. It's doing its own thing while calling back to a lot of Legacy. Not so much of, I guess Tron 1, but it's member berries. It's not, hey, this is a direct sequel to the events of Legacy. It's member Cora and Sam. Yeah, I remember. That's what it is, right? But I think, I'll say it, man. Jared Leto, I think, actually does a good job here as Ares. I really liked it. I where the movie went, I just didn't expect. I kind of thought Ares was a bad guy. Mm-hmm. I did not, or like an anti-hero. I didn't really expect him to be the good guy, and he doesn't start out that way. And, they bring back the Master Control program, which I really liked. I didn't really know that Tron, Ares is the MCP of this Dillinger grid system. And yeah, he kind of has a change of heart and he becomes, I guess, sentient in a way, or, more emotional, which I guess is explored in Tron, but never really like this.
Sure.
Never pointing it out. I don't know, from what I've watched of Tron, Uprising, and Legacy, Tron seems to have feelings. I never really questioned if these programs were
sentient.
Not sentient, emotional.
Sure.
And whatever's going on in Dillinger's grid, clearly that's not the case.
Right.
So I guess Tron becomes sort of, this renegade, this rebel, so to speak, and he kind of breaks free of the system and he realizes that what Dillinger's doing is maybe not how he ethically, he doesn't ethically agree with that.
Right.
I feel like we have some pretty okay characters overall between everybody. I like the action. The effects are spectacular. I didn't notice one point where I went, that looks weird. There seems to be a lot more practical effects. One being the light bikes that we see going throughout the city. But I don't know. I definitely could tell the difference between this and Legacy.
For sure.
And I don't really know how much more to say other than that.
Right, yeah.
About it. It's kind of hard to put my tongue on it.
I hear you.
Yeah, man, I like this movie. I think it was pretty good considering what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not the real sequel I wanted, but I think this movie was made with the idea of let's make a sequel that's sort of on its own thing. And if this does well, which I'm hoping, and I kind of believe it will. I think it will do well.
I do have box office numbers here for us.
Great.
So
that's perfect. I think if this does well, we will get a sequel that is to Ares and Legacy.
Sure.
And we're going to see Sam and Korra come back, and Ares and Korra are going to interact and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. But yeah, what did you think, man?
So, like you said, not high hopes going into this, honestly, for me. When you say, let's bring Tron into the real world, I go...
Yeah, stills.
I'm not really looking...
Those first leak sets were like, oh, it's... Ares in the real world.
That's what I'm like. I'm just like, I don't know. That doesn't really speak to me or call to me that much. So that was a hurdle to get over, number one. Two is the Jared Leto, as you mentioned. I won't go too much into him. I think he's usually fine when he's acting in whatever he's in. It's just the outside
what
stuff
comes with him
is really tough. And I think, it does sadly hurt it in a way that is like ephemeral. Like it's not really, it's tough to like put into words. Like I don't know if a lot of people are going to go see this because he's in it. But barring all that, I sadly did walk out of this pretty disappointed for the most part. I think there are certain elements I really like. I like how we explore the Dillinger side of things. I like how you see Julian Dillinger, and I like how you see Dillinger systems and the Dillinger grid and what that is set up as. I think that's interesting.
Can I interrupt you? We were wrong when we were talking about Dillinger and Legacy. So it's not. So Cillian Murphy Dillinger, Edward Dillinger Jr., the Gillian Anderson is his sister.
Okay, gotcha.
And his sister's son is Julian.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so we're on a different family tree path of the Dillingers. But that is a sort of a sequel from the original, which Legacy doesn't really even address. We go back to the Dillingers.
No, definitely.
And they're sort of on the comeback, and they're rivaling Encom. Go ahead.
Well, and that felt like more of the sequel bait for that movie, was seeing Cillian Murphy and being like, what's going to happen there in the end? Because obviously, like we said,
Edward Dillinger.
There are major... implications from that movie that they were trying to move into a new movie or into a sequel. But yeah, I think Jared Leto's performance is fine. I like this idea that he's actually, I think this is very much a sequel to the first movie in a lot of ways. It references it in a lot of memorabilia ways, but also a lot of story ways.
The explosion in the original grid, I'm like, there it is! That's how they leave!
I like this idea of Tron. I mean, Ares is a combination of Tron and the Master Control Program. And he almost goes on this reverse journey that the Master Control Program goes on in the first Tron, where he wants to destroy humanity and take over the world, and he becomes sentient, but Ares becomes sentient and becomes benevolent in that. And they even talk about that and like, what if a side effect is benevolent, like the new CEO
I like
about.
The Eve Kim lines of like, well, and even Jeff Flynn in the grid, he's like, well, like, just because you act that way doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's like, it kind of like gives you a different perspective on like, I feel like when we talk about AI, and these are, like these programs are not AI. They're written.
But they feel, and that's, I feel like the difference between Ares and Athena. Like she's a program where he was very much originated as a Master Control Program with, I think, much more liberty to learn and become sentient.
Right.
So I like that stuff. But other than that,
just saying they're like, not evil. I feel like we immediately go to Skynet, right?
For sure, and they're in red, and I think that does a good job of like, I like this idea of the Dillinger system being a more militaristic society. I would have liked to see more of that outside of his Master Control Room area. The only other time we go outside of that is when you go on the chase scene through the water, which was cool. But I think that there was just so many threads left dangling from Legacy, and so many things just flat out ignored, that I have trouble taking the movie seriously or enjoying it truly. Because it just feels like why are we bringing in these new NCOM CEOs? And then we talk about Sam in passing twice.
Right.
They don't seem
Sam
to know,
and Korra have been talking about passing the whole movie. Let's be real.
They're mentioned like once or twice, and then you see her picture at the end, and then all of this stuff about like the permanence program, and like they don't seem to know what happened to Kevin. Sam didn't explain what happened at all. It seems.
Do you think he would though?
Yeah.
Really?
The whole point. Okay. At the end of Legacy, the entire setup is that we brought Korra out. We got a program out, and it's not like it's not even like a regular program. It's like this new organism, almost this new bioorganism, this new
ISO.
Yeah, ISO, which is like a bioelectronic biodigital jazz, man.
Thank you. Wow, fumbled that.
And like that was the whole point of that movie to a degree, aside from also Sam reconnecting with Kevin and that whole catharsis there. it just feels like they just completely sidestep that to the point where I'm like, I can't ignore that, especially after seeing Legacy.
I gotta combat you. I don't think it's completely sidestepped because it is there, and I feel like it is brought. Is it brought up a lot, and they're talking about it?
They say Sam's name twice.
No, but like there seems to be this inflection that like, Sam was head of NCOM, and Cora was with him, and enough that like. The tabloids were writing about it.
Well, but they don't know about. They never mentioned Cora other than showing you the
mystery
picture
woman.
At the end.
No. There's a headline that says like Sam Flynn with mystery woman.
Gotcha.
So like, I don't know. Maybe it seemingly went like they were going in a relationship, but I feel like those threads from Legacy are there. But they decided to not do a direct sequel and sort of say there's more to come. We will do a direct sequel in the next one because it seems like Ares is looking for Cora and looking for Sam. And
does she have like cancer or something? What was going on in that picture? She looked like she was like missing hair. I was confused because
she has a short hairstyle,
right? But it looked like she was like sick. I don't know for some reason in it, but
they must be doing something in regards to the ISOs or like Cora. It's been a number of years. There must be something going on. Sam Flynn, in my opinion, probably stepped down because he's like, there's something bigger here, and like I need to like exit NCOM to like do that, and it's with Cora, and he probably loves her and stuff like that. Like I feel like there is a story there. You just kind of have to think about it,
but like
it's not presented to you. There's just a lot of context clues for people like us who've seen the movies to kind of put things together and then be like, okay, it's gonna go somewhere in the next one.
But I think the only context clues is like he left. They say he left for personal reasons at the beginning of the movie, and then they don't even like every time they bring up a Flynn, it's Kevin. When the CEO is talking about a Flynn, it's Kevin. Like I think there is this gigantic Sam Flynn sized holdness. I think this entire movie could have happened without Legacy ever coming out. Like I don't think Legacy really has a major part in this whatsoever. Even the way they talk about bringing people and programs out into the world, like. She's surprised when she sees a program out in the world. Like she didn't know, like you didn't know you could do that. Like you're bringing out all these trees and things like that, and she's like, "There's an actual program here." Like, well, I don't get how they've gotten to this point where they know about like printing things too, and like, I don't. There's just a lot of key, I think, connectory tissue missing here for me. And I think a way you could have fixed that: make the new CEOs Alan's daughters. Or something. Give them some type
of... Alan Bradley.
Like, I think there's ways to connect that I think make much more sense rather than just bringing in a whole new cast of characters. Like, I didn't give a flying fuck about NCOM or anyone there.
See, I did.
I just didn't.
Because of the last movies.
Yeah, because of that. But, like, there's no one there that I connect with at all.
I kind of liked Eve. I kind of liked her. Like, I felt like it was like... It's kind of cliche, she's like this up and coming, like, I don't know if her sister was her twin.
I don't think so. I think she was younger than her, he mentions.
Yeah. Like, I kind of like enjoyed like her character for some reason. I at first I was like, we have a new CEO that should be like Alan Bradley or Sam Flynn, and like, who the fuck is this and what is this? But like, no, I kind of like, again, I feel like she is a lot like Kevin Flynn, where NCOM is making games, they're remaking Space Paranoids apparently, which is it was funny to see this like big launch party. I'm like, what world are we in where games have a launch party
this
like
isn't
that?
An E3 anymore.
Yeah, but like I like how like NCOM is still making games, but like there's another side of NCOM, just like there was another side of Sam Flynn that's doing something bigger, but it wasn't really like, I guess she's talking about it and they're doing their R&D, but NCOM is about games, right? But
and also they're about more help. Like they very much are going with the Flynn motto of like helping people, and like
the ISOs.
You can see that, and I like that differentiation. That like Dillinger, they're printing tanks from programs.
Right, it's a military
NCOM is printing a tree to feed people.
And that was always a boring idea to me. It's like, of course they're going that Ares, obviously Ares is being the Greek god of war. Like, we know that they're going some military application route. But, like, I found that as, like, a surface-level plot detail kind of boring. Like, of course they're going to go that route, of course. But you mentioned the Sam Flynn-sized hole in this movie. But let's talk about the bigger hole, Tron.
I was literally about to bring that up. Yeah.
No, Bruce was on a few panels, one local to our area, by the way, in the Oaks Convention Center, where I was like, fuck, I would have loved to have gone there. He said he wasn't in the movie. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Yeah, of course you're going to say that. Yeah. You may be in the movie, you may not.
May not, right.
Bruce, Tron, not in the movie at all.
And who's Tron? It's Ares. Yeah, and that's it's almost like
he's the security program.
They wanted to name this movie Ares, but then you can't put Tron in the title, and no one knows what you're connecting to. But I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool, and this is how I think it would have worked if original Tron was also in the grid.
I agree.
And again, is it de-aged Bruce Boxleitner? Yeah, I guess it probably is, because it would have to be the Tron from the Grid 1.0.
And then I know I'm beating the dead horse on the non-grid thing, but like we only see the NCOM Grid 1.0 for that heist scene. That's it.
No, you mean I don't know what .0 it is, but so the NCOM Grid when current, they go. Don't you love that scene though when they're hacking it and they're like scaling up the? I'm like, all this of the
is action
awesome.
And all of those moments were really great.
Dude,
like I can't disagree.
I was like,
really
this looks Tron Legacy look like shit. It's like 12v6.
But can I tell you why that is? Because they only had to focus on like 5 scenes. Like 90% of this
I still thought it was cool.
No, that doesn't take away from how cool it is. I don't mean that at all. Like, it's just more like, I think that they had a lot more time to focus on the grid because you weren't on the grid that much. And even when you were in that Dillinger grid, like I said, you're only in that master control area basically the whole time.
Right.
Until that scene. You don't really, I would have just liked to see, what does the society in the Dillinger grid look like? Like, I would have liked to see that city shot and stuff like that. You know what I mean? See,
as somebody who watched Tron Uprising, I honestly think you should. Because it's giving you exactly what you're asking for.
Well, it's
and unfortunately, we need more Tron to get that. But I don't think they're going to do that in these movies. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just
I hear you, and I think you're right.
It just feels like a big mistake to me, you know. And I don't know. Like, I guess I feel so passionate about this right now too because
I love that,
we did watch Legacy. And I really do think that movie got the shaft in a crazy way that I don't understand. And I think it's such a well-made and well-structured narrative that gives you such a great ending and a great feeling, especially at that moment when he fuses with Clue. It just doesn't even come close to that for me. And maybe in a couple years, I don't know. Maybe I will switch. I just don't. I really can't see that right now.
I said in Discord to Trey, I'm like, you'll like it in 5 years.
I don't know if I like. I think I like Legacy when it first
not that we give Rotten Tomato scores any sort of steam here, but like it is at an 86 for fans.
That's cool to hear.
And it's at like a 56 for critics, and like that's better than Legacy. But Legacy's a better movie than this.
I just don't even think it's close.
I think they're very different films.
Definitely.
And one of the ways it's different is the score.
Yes.
I was not nervous about Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, and Atticus Ross coming in to do this score. I know they've done plenty of film soundtracks. They're like pretty well known for this.
Well
at this
connected
point.
In that point,
more so than being like a fucking rock band.
Right.
But I knew it was going to be a different vibe. And Daft Punk has since gone their separate ways. Daft Punk is no more. And I was like, dude, bring them back for this fucking movie. That would be sick. So we get Nine Inch Nails, and I loved the score. It is a lot different from Tron Legacy, but I feel the music fits the Dillinger grid.
Did you feel it in your chest in the theater?
Yeah.
It was the sound system at the IMAX I saw at KOP. Like
we saw in the same theater, but different times. Yeah.
It was. Listen, I don't think it stuck out to me nearly as much as Daft Punk's did. But I think established the world very well. And
it's got its own identity.
For sure. And
identity disc.
Again, I would have loved to see, I don't know. I wish I did see more of the Dillinger grid. Because I like this idea of it being
I don't disagree with
this
you
more
at all.
militaristic system. And like, what does that look like in the society of that grid? And even like NCOM's grid, like what's going on there? We only see like the tower that we go into and break into.
I guess it's not. So Ares comes out of the 1.0 grid in Sam Flynn's arcade, which is where the 2.0 grid is also.
So that's the other thing that did, and again, I don't want to get too much into the like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But like, I don't get why she had to go all the way to Alaska to find Sam Flynn's like backup where her sister found it. But then she's like, no, there's another backup on the NCOM system at the place. I'm like, well, why didn't we go there? What? I didn't really understand the whole through plot of that. It did feel like a big kind of fetch quest to me.
Okay.
I didn't really quite understand it. That's a plot point I didn't really get.
From me understanding it in what you just said, and knowing what I do about Tron, I think it would make sense if NCOM had a 1.0 version of the grid, which was not actually Kevin Flynn's creation and something he just worked on.
Right.
It makes sense that they have this base version of it.
But it's his, though. Like, it's his backup at his place, right? At least as far as I understood.
So the thing in Alaska, I would if it would make sense to me if there is another there is like the files to that 1.0 grid and those systems are connected, but maybe there's other personal files of Kevin Flynn's that he wanted separate from the NCON system because he's working on the ISOs and the permanence code, and it makes sense they would have all these things that he wanted hush hush and only in his hands, or maybe him and Alan Bradley. I think that makes sense.
But I'm just confused on why she had to go, because she could get the same information off the computer in the NCOM building that was in the Alaska cutoff place.
No, the grid, you mean? Or the permanence code?
No, the permanence code was on, so that grid
I don't
exists.
think so. I think the permanence code was on that version, on that computer there.
In Alaska, but then she said it's backed up on the same computer. It's the same backup that's on the computer in his office in NCOM. That's why he had to go into that grid to get the permanence code. So I get that's, and again, maybe I'm misunderstanding. I'm very confident
I don't think
that
you're
that's what
misunderstanding. I think you're assuming that they would just again, she was looking for it, so she doesn't really know what she's looking for. And maybe, I forget how exactly she finds it, but it's
it's behind, that's
she just kind of has to find it. And she just decides to she seems like she was in this kind of Zen kind of moment where she's secluding herself, really trying to, she's getting over her sister's death.
Right.
And this is a big part of it. And honestly, I like how that theme kind of plays, because it's well, if there's a permanence code, couldn't you bring back your sister? I like how they don't bring that up necessarily, but that was in the back of my mind. Well, she must be thinking about that.
I'm confused about the permanence code also towards the end, because I thought that just meant you can stay around forever, but you get killed and they just reprint you. I didn't know that makes you just a permanent human being again. And then also they reprinted her. Is she made from people? What is she made from? She's when they bring her back.
No, she just got. So again, I think this is the nitty gritty where I don't know even if the writers have the answer. How does Sam Flynn exit the grid? Just same way Eve Kim exits the grid. She just gets shot out of it somehow in the IOI tower.
Right. But the difference,
I don't know.
the difference, at least in my headcanon that I came up with this in the moment, they seem to be printing things, 3D printing things.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Which was a cool fact.
And
I like how they walk around, walk out of it.
And it looks like a 3D printer with the, those little filaments that support it when it's being built.
Whereas when Kevin comes out of the grid in the first one, and even Sam comes out, it's like a de-digitalization. They are being put back into the world the exact same way they were taken out of it.
Sure.
Whereas she's taking out of it digitally, but then reprinted physically.
It's also been 40 years.
Yeah, so it's just interesting. I don't know. Again, these are things that I stupidly think of that make no difference at all.
Interesting conversation.
That's not affecting the movie at all for me. It's just a
right.
thing. Yeah.
And also, I think we might be thinking beyond the writer's thoughts.
No, I am too, because I would have been the annoying person in that writing room. I'm so wait, you reprinted her? Was she made of metal? What is going on there? Or because I don't know why, in my mind's eye, when you get put back out digitally into the world, it's just putting out the same information that I don't know. Either way, I digress.
Going back to Nine Inch Nails, because I thought the music was fucking fantastic. I think it really fit the vibe of this film, and I'm okay. I feel maybe with Daft Punk doing the Dillinger score, it wouldn't have worked. But
it feels distinct, and it feels more like it's more of a, and I say this in a good way, it's more moody than I feel like the Daft Punk stuff was. It's more overt, I feel like,
and I really liked Julian Dillinger. I did not think he was crazy.
Yeah.
And I like how at first you don't really get that. He seems like he has all his shit together. He's marketing his military applications to the US government, the highest bidder, whoever. And then you see, okay, this isn't as good. His mom comes out. It's you didn't tell them. They only last for 29 minutes. And then,
by the way,
they,
that's still pretty good. But also, you could send them in something and to do something in that time. Anyways, sorry, continue.
Yeah. But then you see his tattoos and this grid coming out of his neck, almost he's kind of going crazy. His system's coming to light in the surface, and I thought that was really cool. And again, the fact that Dillinger and Encom are sort of neck to neck was really interesting. That they're competing with each other so closely, I thought was really interesting. And again, coming like just sort of referencing Dillinger in the first one to Sam and Cora, or Sam and Alan and Kevin and Laura. In the first one.
I think my major problem with the plot is the MacGuffin of the permanence code. And like, I think how kind of...
I should have called it the impermanence code.
And yeah, even like how it works and what that then means for programs. I don't know. It's... And then even when Kevin made that, it just seems like an odd MacGuffin to introduce. And I think that they would have been better off wholly focusing on Dillinger. Make this the antithesis of Legacy. It is the legacy for Dillinger and his grandfather.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up because it does feel like those legacy themes are kind of back in this for MCOM as an organization, but Dillinger as the prodigy, the next step, the next generation of Dillinger, trying to basically sort of do what Edward Dillinger did in the first one, or come back from that.
And I do love the effect, by the way, also of him on the wall. That looks fucking awesome when he's talking to Ares in the program.
It's like the MCP.
It's like the MCP. Yeah, like it's a very cool modernization of that.
End of line!
That is... end of line! Yeah.
I was just waiting. I was like, say end of line. Like, there were so many opportunities.
But like, I like that switch up to me is very interesting. And I think that's so interesting to me because it's so far removed from what Legacy did. When they start bringing it back into this idea of, well, how are we going to bring the programs into the real world? We already solved that in Legacy. Let's move past that. Let's focus on Dillinger and what they are trying to do over there, and maybe keep us fully away from NCOM. Maybe keep it so that like they almost are the antagonist of this film in a weird way, because we are seeing this side from the Dillinger's perspective and seeing his slow downfall into where he ends up, because where it sets up for where he is at the end is very cool, and I like that that tease. But again, it did feel a bit member berries when he grabs the disc. Oh,
I was like, holy shit, it's Sark.
And by the way, okay, so let's get into the Grid 1.0 and just the look of it.
Yeah,
it looks fucking spectacular. That moment when he gets like even the lighting on his face and all that stuff.
It's going to be very 80s, and I like Depeche Mode.
That stuff I liked. I did.
And when he was like trying to describe to Kevin Flynn why he liked Depeche Mode over Mozart, and he was like, it's just a feeling. I was like, that's a really good writing right there.
There are some bright spots for me for sure, especially with stuff like that.
And I feel like you're gonna grow to find this movie better. It's in you. I see it, Trio.
I don't think I am, Gooch. I think I'm very firm. There are elements I like, but I really, again, I think I said this in the Discord last night. The cornerstone of it for me is how much this, like, I feel like goes out of its way to ignore stuff in Legacy. And maybe it's just my own personal feeling.
I don't see it as going out of the way.
No, and I think that's fair enough. But it just feels like that movie could not have happened at all, and we could still get this movie. And that kind of upsets me. It upsets me, Gooch.
Let's go back to the Grid 1.0.
Yes. So, I mean, it looks as good as you could ever imagine. Like,
this is what the original Tron was supposed to look like.
And even just for how they still, even in the way they still use the old techniques
and
of
Bit.
Bit showing up. And even when he gets into the light cycle, that effect of it going around him, like,
and it like speeds up.
It's so perfect. And
it's really good.
It couldn't have been more well executed, and again, it just makes me want to see more of that.
What did you think of Kevin, of Jeff Bridges' role as Kevin again? It's much different, you know. It's like supporting character.
Yeah, and it's like tough for me not to compare to Legacy. Just like going from him being like this kind of more mentor and more central focus of the plot to him just kind of being a force ghost there to
it seems like Ares. It's this like version of Kevin Flynn that is just like, you know. It's like his ghost was left in the machine kind of thing.
It was the person
which
Ares needed to talk to. It's like there's something he says to him when he meets him. He's like, I was created as a result of you being present in the system. Like, I'm here because of you.
Yeah, he does.
Because you need to speak to me or something like that. And I was like, that's interesting. And like this idea of him living as this phantom program within this old system, that's cool.
And I could tell, like, I'm like, this isn't the Kevin Flynn we saw die in Legacy. Like, that's not what this is. And I kind of knew that from the jump.
Definitely.
Especially since it was in the Grid 1.0, like, you know,
that's the other thing. I'm like, how is he, I guess, like,
connected?
Right. There's a lot of like little stuff like that where I'm just like, well, how did he get from here to there?
You know, it's hard to tell even from watching Uprising if Tron in Legacy is the original Tron Because Clue is not, but Clue 1.0 dies. But like Tron, they never explicitly say like, yeah, I brought Tron over from that original system and put him in this one. That's not explicitly said.
He does.
He does
in Legacy. Yeah, he's like I brought Tron. Like I think when he's explaining to Sam like what happened, he's like, I brought Tron. He literally says like, I brought Tron over from the other system to keep security on this one.
God.
I'm pretty confident.
It never seemed apparent to me.
So I think that is definitely Tron, because in Uprising, Tron, he like someone takes over the mantle of Tron, right? Isn't that the idea?
So yes and no.
Okay. Like he's like filling in for him.
Beck is working for Tron.
Right.
So there's an uprising going on, and it's Tron's doing. Tron gets killed while Tron is captured and almost killed by Clue and his gang that helps him take over.
Right.
And a program sort of saves Tron. Like a random guard is like, no, this isn't right. And he crashes the rectifier or the recognizer, and he escapes, and he has to stay in this, like, he's really injured. He has to stay in this, like, back to tank like thing to repair himself. And he basically starts the uprising from there. And he recruits Beck, who is just a program who started fighting against Clue. And he basically was like, how dedicated are you to this? This is the first episode. And then he basically gives him half his identity disc and like, you're the new Tron. And that's where the Tron lives comes from. And Tron is in it a lot.
Right.
But Tron is too weak to
do things, right.
Yeah, but he does do things, and he does fight, and dude. He is so emotional in it. It's fucking awesome.
And it is Bruce Boxleitner?
Yeah, it is him.
That's cool.
Elijah Wood plays Beck. There's a Lance Reddick, Lance Hendrickson, a lot of good voice talent in it. But it's showing you like what's going on in the grid and what other programs are like and things like that. So, why do we start bringing this up? Tron. It sucks Tron's not in this movie, man. But I know, like, again, if we get another one, they're definitely going to bring him back either as Tron or Alan Bradley or something like that.
Well, and again, I think that's because Ares is Tron in this. Even by the end, when his lights turn white, he gets the whole light up T. And or it's like this whole section of
it's a different symbol. I don't know if it looks like Tron,
but I think it's supposed to be the same idea of like he is the protector of the system.
Right, he's a security program.
He is the security program, and again, that stuff I think is the strongest element of the movie, and I just wish they kind of focused in on that more. And I don't think you need this MacGuffin of the permanence code. I think you can do a lot of what this movie is doing without adding that layer in, and I think without retreading some of the ground we did tread in Legacy. And I get it. You want to soft reboot something. You want to make it
too long.
You want to make it accessible.
And that's Disney's fault.
It's Disney's fault, and it's also like
because they had sequels greenlit.
Well, and I know the one got canceled because of like Tomorrowland didn't do well. Right, was a big issue with
that.
I think
Tomorrowland the movie.
Yeah, like because this like that didn't. Legacy didn't like bomb.
No,
it just didn't
not.
like do amazing.
And yeah, like with Uprising, I was looking at like the numbers. It debuted to 2 million.
Well, and then like you said,
then it steadily goes down. But the last like 6 episodes, they like didn't air on Disney XD. They like put them on at like midnight.
Wow.
Because I'm like, that sucks, dude. Because that show is so good, and it leaves and like it's just getting started. Like,
right.
God.
And I mean,
I really suggest you watch that.
I think Disney, it didn't do as well as they wanted, and then they scooped up. They had Marvel, I think, by that point, and then they scooped up Star Wars. So they had their franchises, and they were like, all right, well, we're gonna move on to these and focus on these.
Right, we're gonna put the money where we
know it's gonna make us money back. Yeah. And listen, it sucks because I would have liked to see a much more direct follow up to Legacy and where that leads, and it just feels like there are so many dangling plot threads left there.
I think we can get that if this movie does well.
But that's the thing, I just don't know.
If you like Tron, you already missed your mark on getting out on weekend one. You got to get out and see this movie because I know a lot of actors say this. I keep saying Bruce Boxleitner even said he's like, I'm not in the movie, but you should go see it because I still want to be Tron.
Right.
And if you go see the movie and it gets a sequel, I will be Tron. So if you want to see more Tron, you got to go out and see this movie. Not go off the tweets and off the fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Go out and see the movie. And that goes for anything. Stop believing everyone else's opinion. Go out and see something. Put a little money on it. Risk, the $20 or the time and form your own opinion. And at least you contributed to
That's a lot to ask of people.
The industry.
That's a lot of money right now, and I get the gut response of seeing a really bad Rotten Tomatoes review and being like, I'll wait for that. That's just the way most people think. And
I mean, I even do
it's
that.
Unfortunate,
you know?
yeah.
I'm not saying I don't do that, but with stuff I really love, I definitely don't.
Like I don't know what I like. This isn't. I will admit this isn't the spectacle that Tron Legacy was. Like there are some really fantastic action scenes here and there, but in the same way that
I think it's not the spectacle. I think it's a spectacle.
I think there are two really cool action scenes and some cool moments on the grid. But like you're not getting what Tron Legacy was in the same way.
But
in the same way and in the same.
But you don't think the visuals were like, wow,
the visuals look great, but it's not in the same depth that the first movie was. And you're spending most of your time in the boring real world with Jared Leto talking to the CEO. I just don't care.
I did think it was cool when like Athena's going after Eve and like the giant
that scene was cool.
recognizer and the scene with the light cycles being real and shit like that. Yeah. Like I really like those scenes. Yeah, it is different from Legacy. Bar none. Yeah. It is not the same kind of effects. But like I did find it, I was entertained. I was excited. I don't think this is a dud at all. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd, but like I think it's kind of like a high tier movie, low tier film. Like I would not. It didn't like Tron Legacy. I think is really deep. I don't really think Ares is nearly as that deep, but the threads are definitely there, and they're definitely alluding to Ares being deeper. By being like, hey, there was something that came out of the grid and like Sam Flynn knows about it. I need to go find that. I really hope we get to see that. I really do.
But like, shouldn't that have been this movie?
No, because Disney fucked up and it's been too long, so they need to reintroduce audiences to Tron again.
But I don't think I don't know. I don't think
apparently
you do.
They think that.
No, I get that. And I'm saying that's a mistake. I
hear you. It wouldn't have been my first idea for the sequel.
And I can't just say blanketly like go see this. Like if you just want like I don't know.
I don't think I can say that either. But if you're a Tron fan, regardless of how you feel about Ares, Leto, whatever, I think you got to go see this movie because we're not going to get more Tron if this movie doesn't do well.
But it sucks that we have to watch a bad movie to get a good movie. And I'm saying that's a completely objective like way of putting it, but that's from my objective point of view. It sucks that I have to get through this kind of like mediocre to fine Tron to get back to what I thought was genuinely stellar writing and a very interesting idea of bringing this biodigital world into the real world. And then by the end, they get this whole like thing of like they're solving medicine and basically doing that whole thing that Kevin mentions in Legacy, where it's like biodigital jazz, man, all that. But why? They don't have an ISO. That was the whole point of that.
Well, there is.
Yeah, but that's not what they're basing it all off of. They just happen to be able to print. I guess they can print a tree now. They can digitally print a tree. That's great. But like that didn't seem to be like the point at all of what Kevin Flynn was saying. It seemed to be very much keyed into the ISO DNA, which they don't have. They just have regular programs.
Yeah, but they're pulling it from a system that contained Kevin Flynn's discovery of the ISO.
But they're not an ISO. Like they need the whole point of
I know, but like I don't buy that like it lives and dies with them. I guess it does, but again, there is an ISO still.
Right, but
this is like
that should have already happened.
It's kind of like the conversation we had a little bit earlier, where we're getting into like the writing that wasn't written by the writers, because we're thinking a little bit deeper about the world that we understand.
Maybe they should think as deeply as we do, Gooch. I don't know. It really bothers.
But I will say, man, I don't think like comparing it to like a Marvel movie we've seen. I think this is like Disney at their maybe not their best, but pretty damn good.
What way?
Think about all the other offerings they have between Marvel, Star Wars, some of their animation to live action.
Sure.
This seems to be trumping all that shit.
In what way? Like in the box office?
I think in just quality.
Don't get me wrong. The quality of this film is there.
All of those Disney live actions come out and they all do pretty poorly. Yeah. Like it's weird. Well, why they want to invest their time and their money into these really heavily CGI'd adaptations that ultimately underperform at the box office. And the budget for this movie wasn't crazy, which I find insane.
It was like 180. It was 180 million.
As opposed to like Flash's like 500.
That was 250. But that's without marketing. So this is probably actually like $300,000 with marketing. Tron.
Don't you think it's kind of low?
No, that's very normal. I mean, and especially for how little they're in the
I
grid.
was expecting at least like 200 plus.
For how little we see the grid, it makes total sense to me. Truly. Because this isn't a CGI heavy movie. They're in an office building most of the time. And then even they just have to build the one set for the Dillinger program because you're just in that one area and then you have a green screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're
so it's just not that heavy budget in that regard. Like, I think if this was a more Tron Legacy type, we're in the grid for 80% of the movie, you would have seen that budget at maybe 250, maybe 300 before marketing. So yeah, no, it's not doing well this weekend, sadly.
What are the box office numbers?
So it's a 33.5 million domestic opening, and then like I said, 180 million in the current climate.
So on Thursday night it did.
I think like 8 or something like that. So I don't think that includes the Thursday night. So
the opening is the Thursday night.
So the opening, I'm talking about the opening weekend. So as far as I understand it, I think that opening night, that Thursday preview night, is counted separately, and then there is the domestic weekend box office that is just Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. Regardless.
Okay. So what are those numbers again?
33.5 million for the whole weekend, and then $180 million budget. So with marketing, I'd say around 300,000 at most, 100,000 for marketing. It's probably going to need to get up around there to break even. And again, I hate that we're at this point where we have to talk about movies from a box office.
A financial.
It really has become just the capitalistic thing of just like, did it make money? No, fuck it. And there's going to be a different scale at this point because we are at a point where people aren't seeing movies as frantically as they want.
I have an update to
Please,
that.
yeah.
60.5 million global opening.
So that's global. I'm talking domestic. So that makes sense.
Okay.
So that's half of that's domestic, half of that's global.
27 million international box office.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, we'll see where that goes from there. I hope it doesn't fall off. It does have a B+ cinema score, which isn't usually a great sign.
Yeah, okay.
As far as I understand.
You're correct. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And that's what I got confused on that too. When I look up things, it's it's domestic versus global.
So the global is 60.5 million, which is, I don't think it's like bad.
I think it's less than they, of course, predicted, but that's how it always goes. So I don't know.
I think the predicted was 80.
Yeah, I just do think, man, they made a
so the Variety headline: box office Tron Ares stumbles with 33.5.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Like that's such a like.
But it's just,
I hate that headline.
No, I know. Whenever you do whenever you
Collider
leave
stumbles.
Yeah,
they're using the same bunch of fucking assholes.
It's unfortunate, man, and I do just think that there are very slight tweaks to this movie that you can make that just make the story infinitely more interesting and compelling. I don't think the visuals are the issue at all.
What do you think about the intro?
I like that part. I was actually ooh.
Did you like the I mean, it was definitely AI. I think that was
Is it AI? Is that I just thought they used some type of I don't know, effects of some kind.
I mean, right. It seemed to be.
I thought you meant for the news thing. You're right. The other thing is AI or something with Jeff Bridges when he's young and he's talking and he's like the grid, the final frontier.
That and the talking heads. I think that was the point.
Yeah, sure.
It seemed like it was trying to say something with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just read it as it was a weird effect that they were putting on them. But maybe, yeah. I like that intro.
But I like that because it's what Legacies was.
What's going on? And then they mentioned Sam, and I'm like, oh, we did get a mention of Sam. Let's go. What's going on? And then I genuinely think, Gooch, the only other time they say Sam is when you see it on the wall when you dedicate it to him. I don't think that they mention him again.
No, he's mentioned. I think Eve Kim mentions him once or twice. There's those headlines on the wall. And then the end.
I'd love to talk to Garrett Hedlund. Did they even approach him about this? They show his face.
I mean,
so they had to give him some type of money because he's in the
and Bruce Boxleitner is not in it at all. I was surprised to not see Alan Bradley. So clearly he wasn't.
I don't understand the choices to create a whole new NCOM team. I don't understand the choices to, from what I feel very much ignore Legacy.
I feel like the answer to your question is Disney waiting. Like,
well, no,
that is the
Disney,
ultimate
like,
answer.
But it's like,
that's why they did that, because it's like a soft reboot for the third time.
But even like you said in the group chat the other night, and I just disagree that like Tron very much feels connected to Tron Legacy in the fact of this is a natural progression as to where Kevin Flynn went. He went inside the system, he got out of it, he took over NCOM.
Sure.
He went into the future, but then he got lost in the grid, and then NCOM fell off. Whereas like this just doesn't feel like, and I said it 3 times already, Legacy even happened. It feels like you could completely remove Legacy from this and they'd be like, Kevin Flynn is gone. What happened to him? NCOM is now actually a good company and is following in his footsteps and is trying to, use the digital world. Like, it just feels like there's just nothing.
I'm trying to think of a sequel that really takes from the first film. Because think about it. Like, I was just thinking about movies like First Avenger, Captain America: First Avenger to Winter Soldier, sequel,
right?
But has nothing to actually do. It's not really a sequel. I mean, it is a sequel. It's the second Captain America movie. It's the second big story of Captain America, but it actually almost has very little to do. It's not like taking from the events. It like influences it. It's there, but it's not like the event besides the general culmination of the original Tron that informs Legacy, but not like the little things.
But the Legacy does not inform this. I feel like, and you may disagree, and that's fine, but it feels like it does not inform this at all. It informs it in the most superficial and non-intrusive way that it could not exist at all, and the movie would still be fine. I think with Tron and Tron Legacy, all of the culmination of Tron very much leads to the character that Kevin Flynn is, and it is a natural continuation of those events. Whereas this, it feels like it's still re-exploring the same ideas that were already taken care of in that prior sequel, especially with the permanence code stuff and this idea of bringing the programs into the real world.
See, I think the way I'm thinking about it, the real sequel to Tron is like what we get in the flashbacks, him building the grid, Clue turning on him, that thing. That's actual.
And those are like direct, hard references.
That's what I'm. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
But then that's there. But that's there
because none of these movies are direct, hard references to the one that came before.
I just don't feel like Tron Legacy is exploring the same exact things as Tron did. I think it's just doing it. I think it's really capitalizing on where Kevin Flynn is from that movie and then introducing a new character in a very natural way in his son. And then taking that story in the natural direction of he's gone, Kevin needs to go find him, or Sam needs to go find him. He gets sucked into the grid. The adventure begins. Whereas in this, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, things happen.
It just kind of just starts.
Things did in fact happen.
Things happen. Sam's gone for some reason. We don't really know why, aside from they say personal reasons. Cora's obviously out there, but they don't know what happened with Sam in the grid. They don't know what happened to Kevin. I would have assumed that that moment of them riding off into the sunset, he's going back to NCOM with her. He's going back to take over. He's going back to revitalize the world.
I always took it as he's starting a life with her. Because like they do have this romantic thread.
No, for sure. I think that's definitely
it's very like a seedling.
That's 100% an element of it. But I do think the other half of it was he's like, we're gonna do what my dad wanted to. We're gonna change the world, and that just never happened for some reason. Again, maybe if they gave me a more lucid explanation as to why.
I think if the sequel was closer, like those original sequels were supposed to happen, we would have gotten that.
Right, but I think you can still do that even while soft rebooting. Give me some type of connection to this NCOM CEO beyond she just came in out of nowhere. You know what I mean? I think I would have been alleviated a lot more if it was Alan's like daughter or something like that. You know what I mean?
How was your theater?
It was fine. It wasn't like super packed, but like the center was pretty good.
My theater was pretty bad
at the end,
Friday night viewing.
There was one guy who's tried to start clapping, and it was kind of awkward. He was like, "Woo, woo!" Like no one really did. It was just like,
relax. Yeah. We gotta stop that. Even if the movie is good.
There's a time and a place really when you feel it with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's a theater feeling.
You know when you feel it, and there's just sometimes you just don't feel it.
Yeah, sometimes there are kind of like loose claps that like are kind of.
Of course,
it's like okay, everyone's kind of in on that. But yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, I don't know. Just I guess to wrap myself up. Yeah, I just think it kind of hit all of the points that I was afraid it was going to hit in the way of like we're in the real world a bit too much for my liking. Mm-hmm. We're ignoring much more of Tron Legacy than I would have preferred. And I get that you need to soft reboot things. And I get that you need to bring in a new audience, but it just feels like those things are so ignored to the point of where it detracts from the story to me. And, Jared Leto, he's Jared Letoing, but he's fine. I don't really have any.
Yeah, I guess Ares exceeded and surprised me. And I think that's why I liked it.
That's good.
I think I really had this like, I don't really know how much trailers I actually consumed of Ares. I don't think it was
I think I watched like the first 2, and then that was it.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to see any more. Like I'm in. I'm gonna go watch the fucking movie. But yeah, I think that's why I like it is I was surprised with where the plot went and how it went and where the characters went and who was in it and how. Like it didn't. Again, if it was like what I said at the beginning, where like Ares was like kind of like evil, like that's what I was expecting.
Right.
I was expecting Ares to sort of be like, sort of even what you're talking about with like MCOM being like the bad guys and like we're all in the perspective of the Dillingers.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
No, listen, I think my favorite element of this movie is the idea of he's having the reverse journey of the Master Control program from the original Tron. He's becoming sentient, but in a way that he sees like the benevolence in humanity and the beauty in humanity, and he wants to be a part of it. Whereas the MCP from the original Tron was like, I'm just going to nuke all these fuckers, and you guys created me, and I won.
Over government system.
Right. Like the very classic AI Skynet thing, you know what I mean? So
I also
that part I liked, for
hugely miss opportunity for when the Dillinger helicopter comes out and it's not that Tron.
Yeah, what are we doing, guys?
Huge missed opportunity. I heard it and I'm like, oh, no!
And then again, I did think, because like he just has like a gun that can bring people into his grid.
I kind of get that. Like, Kevin Flynn built this fucking portal laser thing in the fucking 80s and they have a handheld version of that. I can buy that.
But then like NCOM doesn't know about it. So, but like she's like she's like surprised by it. She's explaining to the CEO, she's like, they reversed the particle accelerator and brought me into the program. Like she didn't know they could do that. So I was like,
oh,
what have you guys been doing? What's happening?
Well, I mean, I think that makes sense.
They've never gone into the program? They've never been inside their thing? They don't even seem to have a bag.
What makes you think that was like a widely known thing?
Well, my point is, why wouldn't it be after, especially to, and not even widely, but like to the upper echelons of NCOM? Did Kevin or did Sam just get back there and just go like, you know what? I'm not telling you guys anything. I'm getting out of here. Bye. Like
I don't think Kevin told people about what happened in the system when
but that's because he was trying to build the system and then he was trying to figure out how to
he was doing that on his own.
Exactly.
I never, and Alan, like, I don't even know if Alan,
he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't really even know if
he
Alan
doesn't. He doesn't know.
Yeah,
he doesn't, and you can tell that. But I think that makes more sense from the perspective of Kevin at the time because he's discovering this new thing, and he just found the ISOs, and he's like, "We're about to," and it seemed
now
to
I gotta invest time.
And he's like, also, well, we're about to change the world, and that seemed from the time that he discovered the ISOs, from the time that Clue destroyed them, seemed to be a pretty short amount of time. At least that seems to be what's inferred from me. Whereas, like, in this, they just are, like, I don't know. He just doesn't do anything with them once he's out of the system. And I think that's the most unbelievable thing to me with Sam. Like, he gets her out, the ISO, out of the system by the end, and then just, there's no type of recognition of that at all in the greater world. Like, he didn't try to save the world like his father wanted to. He didn't try to change the world. Just that's a whole major dangling plot that maybe they'll answer in the next one, but it just feels like such a large one to just leave out there. I don't know. And again, I want to talk to Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah,
where you at?
Yo, Garrett,
what's going on? Did they talk to you about this?
DNN.
I want to hear
Let's
the whole
talk.
Because they
Garrett Hedlund post Legacy.
Because by the way,
Garrett Hedlund's Legacy.
He's great in that movie. I will say that again.
Yeah,
he really is fantastic. I'm just way more personable in my opinion than Jared Leto, even in this. Yeah, but he's fine. He's fine. Like, I'm not gonna.
Like I said, I don't have anything nice to really say about Jared Leto, even if he's in the Snyder Cut, for fuck's sake.
Well, and he's just again, like, he is a good actor.
Yeah, he's
fine enough.
He's
but like, yeah.
So apparently he was method acting, and everyone was referring to him as Ares, and he was being very program-like, and Jeff Bridges was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like, get the fuck out of here.
Dude, I'm not doing that, man.
Yeah, like, what is this? Jesus Christ.
And I think there was this, like, interview, like, he referred to him as, like, I think Air instead of Aries or something like that, and he kind of was like, I'm not talking to G. Well, no, I think he like half did it. I think Jeff Bridges like actually like talked to him like Kevin Flynn.
Interesting.
Outside of the set, but also didn't want to call him Aries. And like it's interesting.
Yeah.
But like there is some, so like again, Jared Leto being Jared Leto. Anyway,
I would have loved to see more NCOM 1.0 grid. I'll end it there.
If so you gorgeous. Went out to go see Tron Ares, please do let us know. And let us know what you think in the comments section below. And make sure to subscribe, follow. Wherever you're doing it, please do it. Hit that
we
notification bell, whatever it's called, to be notified
like, comment,
when,
share, subscribe.
When new episodes are out.
We appreciate that. I was going to say something else. Fuck. It's gone. Okay.
Reviews on Spotify?
Reviews on Spotify. Yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Apple Podcasts?
Help us with the algorithm. We always really do appreciate it. But thank you all so much for watching with us. If you've been live with us on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.
End of line.